Hey guys, so I'm back here with my 2002 Nissan Maxima. Just happened a couple of days ago. I was driving around on the freeway and randomly all the lights, well, first off, the oil lamp came on, and then over here the brake light came on. I believe it's on that side. Either way, those two lights came on, and a couple of other lights, the ABS light. And you know, typically you don't see that unless there's some sort of electrical failure. Before I drove on the freeway, I had to jump start the car, which I found kind of a weird thing because I had driven it just a couple of days prior. So what instantly clicked into my head was, okay, well, the alternator died. So eventually the car died just a couple of miles after the lights came on, and the battery completely died. So now when I turn this on, the lights, I don't know if you can tell, but they're dim, and if I try and start the car, it just doesn't even do anything anymore. It doesn't click, doesn't do anything. If I try and turn on the radio, that doesn't work. So it's definitely an electrical issue. So I went ahead and bought an alternator, and I'll be showing you guys how to replace the alternator. Alright, so this should be everything that you need to get the alternator replaced. You will obviously need jack stands, so a couple of jack stands, 2 or 3, and a jack like that one, or the one that you have in your trunk. So just get that out, lift up your car, and do that, and then sorry about the mess here. This got warped, so everything fell out. But anyways, you're going to need a good socket set, or ratchet set, probably a good wrench set as well. You're also going to need a replacement alternator. This one here, I purchased on Amazon for about $100. It's a bit heavy, so I'm not going to take it out. But yeah, so about $100 for the new alternator. And I figured, well, the belt hasn't been changed either, so I bought a belt as well. So if you guys need any of this stuff here that I'll be using, links will be down below in the description. So check that out if you need any of this stuff. But let's go ahead and get to work here. So I almost forgot to mention, but you're going to need your lug nut wrench, which you can typically find in your trunk back here. There's a little panel, and most of your stuff should be down there somewhere. So grab that, or if you have one of these, then you can use that as well. Either one will work, but you will need one of them because we have to remove the right front tire. Before you start, as always, remember to take out the negative battery terminal, just to avoid damaging any electronics in the car or anything like that. Alright, so before you go and lift up the car, make sure the tire is down on the ground, and then go ahead and loosen up all these lug nuts. And these can sometimes be a bit difficult, so you might just have to pick it. Sometimes you can stand on it as well, but just give it some force and you should be able to get these nuts off. So here is one. If you just stand on this, you should be able to loosen up those nuts. So just loosen up all of them like that, and then lift up the car. Alright, now that all of these are loose and you can basically turn them with your fingers, go ahead and lift up the car and secure it with your jacks. Alright, so now that these are loose and you can basically turn them with your fingers, go ahead and lift up your car and then secure it with your jack stands. Alright, so now as you can tell, now that you've got the car up and secured, you only need it a little bit off the ground just so you have enough room to work in there. Go ahead and remove. Alright, so now that you have the nuts out, you can go ahead and get this off and just set it aside. Probably not like that. But now at this point we need to remove this shield here, this plastic shield. So it looks like there's going to be a bolt there that looks like an 8mm, and it looks like there's a Phillips right there. So we'll get those two out. So this one is actually a 10mm socket. So get this one out, and then it looks like there's actually another screw right there that needs to be taken out, and one right there. I don't see any other ones. There might be a couple of other ones down here, but my car is pretty old, and yours is probably as well if it's a 2002 like this one. So you might have a couple more. Alright, so after you have this shield out, you should be able to see the AC compressor there, and the alternator is actually up there somewhere. But I wanted to show you this. These are actually not screws. These are those plastic little cap things. They're just wannabe screws. So you should be able to just take these out. If you break them, it doesn't really matter. But try and get those out so you can put them back in once you're done with the work here. Alright guys, so it looks like I messed up. I got the wrong belt, and while I was noticing that, I also noticed something really weird here. Now this just goes to show that I really don't know much about cars, so if I can do this repair myself, you guys should be able to without any problem. So the belt that I actually got is this one here, which is completely different. But if it's easily replaceable, I'll throw that in as a bonus for the video. This is the one that you actually need. This is the drive belt, and it's about $10 or so. I ordered another one, so that one should be here by tomorrow. But the other thing I noticed is up here, I noticed the pulley in there. See that pulley right there in the middle? Well, that pulley is completely broken. Here's the part. So this may have been what caused the whole issue, just the nut on the pulley falling off and then creating issues with the alternator and ultimately leading up to the car dying on the freeway. So this is called the an idle pulley, and so I'll be showing you how to replace that as well. I ordered an extra one, so that'll be here tomorrow with the belt. But for now, we'll just get on with the original idea of the video after I let this drop. So as you can tell there, you just wiggle it out and that will fall out. And this is just the bracket for the idle pulley. And I'll show you the new one once I get it. So if your idle pulley wasn't like that, there should be just a nut. There should be like a ball bearing right here and then a nut there. You'll just have to take that out. I'm not sure exactly what size it is, but I'll let you know later on. Once you have done that, You should be able to take the belt out. Just make sure to note how the belt was routed, so it goes around these, and then it just it dips down right there at the pulley. And that's about it. So let me take that belt out and see what it actually looks like. So notice this belt versus that belt. The bigger one is the drive belt. This is also known as the tensioner. So some people refer to it as the idle pulley. Some people refer to it as the tensioner. Either one works. Alright, now up here, now that we're under the car, I'm still going to replace the alternator. As you can tell up there, it's kind of rusty and old. I don't think it's ever been replaced, and typically I like to keep my cars running well, although I don't know what I'm doing half of the time. So now we need to take out the AC compressor. So this is the AC compressor here, right below the alternator up here. The easiest way to tell your alternator from the compressor is the alternator has those little wires inside that generate electricity. So to take this out, there should be 4 bolts holding the compressor. One here, one there on the other side, one right there, and I'm pretty sure there's another one hidden somewhere back there. I'll show you that one after. These look like they're about... Alright, so these bolts up here are looks like they're 9/16. I don't know exactly what that is in metric. If anyone knows, post in the comments. But yeah, so take these out, this one, the one up there, and the one up there. If there's any difficulty with it, I'll show you guys what I run. Alright, so these bolts, this one was pretty easy to get out. This one up here is a pain to get to. You're gonna have to use one of these or something similar with a, let's see what the size is on this, a 9/16. Whatever, you can't really tell, but yeah, 9/16 to get these out. And if you're having a hard time, just get some WD-40, because some of these bolts may be rusty, like this one, as you can tell here. When I turn it, you can see rust and dirt falling off of it. But yeah, get those removed. Alright, so here's the other one that I was talking about, right up there. And that one, you can get to it with a ratchet like this one as well. You'll have very limited movement here, but you should be able to get it. Just pulled out. This one at the top might have these hoses in the way, so you should be able to unclip this one here and then just move that one out of the way. You should be able to get this long bolt out of here by just wiggling it out like so. There's one down, there's 2 down, and then just those 2. Before you remove the last one, either one, make sure you have a jack or a jack stand down here below this, so this doesn't just fall. Alright, so the bolt back there at the top is actually a lot easier to get to if you have an extender like this. This way you can get a bit more leverage and you can take it out like this. Alright, so this one here, once you have it loose enough, you should be able to just use the extender with the socket at the end and just hand turn it. But do remember to put a stand here to hold this. Alright, so that feels like it's pretty much out. Go ahead and get my finger in here and pull it out. And there's the fourth bolt. And now we can lower this slowly. I'm going to have to put the camera down just so I can lower it just a little bit. So it looks like after I remove the bolts, this is now loose. As you can tell here, I can move it around. But it just doesn't have enough room for it to go out and give me room to work up here. So in order to move this out of the way, we need to move this line, which it looks like it goes in here, so it must be an oil line. Be careful with that. But there is a nut right here that will let us pull it this way so that this can go out. So this nut, it looks like, what is that, a half? Yeah, a half. So get that one out so we can move that hose, and remember to have your jack here to hold your compressor. Looks like there's another nut that you might want to take out right here, because that's holding that line as well. So I'm going to do that just so I can get a little bit more room. More room is always better when working in tight spaces like this. Alright, so there we go. I took out that bolt and that bolt. Those are right here. They're both halves. So now that those are out, this hose is loose, and we can get this AC compressor out of the way. I'm going to lower it down a little bit. Alright, so it looks like, and now this bolt right here for the alternator. I just don't have enough room here to be able to undo this. As you can tell there, I need a little bit more leverage over here. So I'm taking out this bolt here, which is another half, and that should hopefully give me enough room to be able to take that out. So there's that one. And now with the 9/16 here, hopefully I have enough leverage to be able to get this one out. If not, then I will need to take out this whole bracket, which I may have to do either way to replace the... Alright, so I was able to get that one loose. Now that I have enough leverage from removing that, I did have to use a bit of WD-40 here to get it loosened up, but after a few minutes of waiting after spraying it, I was able to get this here. And then I was using both hands like so, and then using my two thumbs to push up like that to get that out. So it's loose now, and I'll go ahead and just remove it right now, and I'll show you once that's out. Now you should be able to unplug the alternator up here. And there's also a grounding bolt right there. So unplug the harness here. And you should have access to this hose right here. This is the AC compressor hose, so you should be able to move the compressor down there if you need to. But yeah, take out this bolt and then unplug. So this is actually a half deep socket. So get that taken out and then just unplug the harness from the alternator there. So there's that little nut. There's that. And that will go right there if yours doesn't come with its own already. And then to unplug the harness, there should be a clip over here on the side. And make sure to press that down firmly and then remove the plug. I have to use two hands to do this, so I can't really show you that. Alright, so be very careful with that plug. If you have pliers like these, you should be able to get them in there. And I was able to get in, and the clip is right there on the side, right there. So just crimp it down with your pliers and then you should be able to get it loose enough so that you can just pull it out like that. And again, let me show you the clip just so you guys don't end up breaking it. So here is the clip. It has a little latch on the inside there that you need to press down. So get that out, make sure it's okay, make sure the wires aren't stripped or anything like that, and then also remove this. Alright, now there's going to be one bolt going across the whole way on the alternator. So this is the one that we just undid down here. So there was the nut here. So now we need to push the bolt all the way out to the other side. Or at least enough to get this loose. So up there you can see that bolt, and you can use a hammer like this. Let me see. So it's not this one, but it's this one right here, and just hit it until you're actually able to see it on the other side. So let me show you what it looks like here. So there is that bolt coming out. At this point you should be able to get a wrench in there and then just push it out. So something like this, wrench here. So there, if you can tell, the wrench actually fits there now, and now you can pull and get that bolt even further out now. So there's that bolt, and then just keep using a wrench or something to get that out. Alright, there we go. So there's the bolt. You should be able to pull it. Alright, so I was trying to take out that bolt down there, and that's a very hard spot to get into. So there's actually another bolt that you can take out instead, which is right above the alternator. So there's the alternator, and then there's this little bracket thing that they put there, and then there's this harness that goes to this this grounding harness. So if you get a knife and you pry this up with a knife, like this one. You should be able to get that unlatched. And then you can move this harness completely out of the way, so you have a bit more room to work with. And this way you can get right here, and the bolt is right under there. So you will need most likely an extender like this, and I believe the bolt in there is one of these 1/2 inch. I just want to say this is probably the hardest part of the whole process. I also want to say that whoever made this little bracket, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I don't know why they had to put this lip right here to prevent people from using a normal wrench to get to that bolt. So yeah, this is a pain in the ass. If you're not ready for it, then just don't even try this repair. If you are ready for it, be ready to swear quite a bit when you get to this part. Alright, so I was finally able to loosen up that bolt that's hidden behind this ridiculous bracket. And I used a 1/2 inch socket here with a 1/4 inch drive wrench. So yeah, I'll just take that out and then show you. Alright, so here is that bolt that I was just working on. Again, that's a 1/2 inch socket. And there, as you can tell now, here is that bracket, and the alternator is way down there now. So it's finally loose and ready to be taken out of here. So it will need to be pushed up, and then that bolt right there that's sticking out needs to be completely removed. Alright, so here's that long bolt. There's the alternator. Now it should be able to just roll on out of place there. So now it's loose. We need to get this compressor out of the way so we can get this. Here's a slightly better look at the alternator now that it's loose, and just push this out of the way and we should be able to slide this out here on this side. Obviously I need 2 hands to do it. Alright, so the easiest way to get the alternator out is to turn it like this on its side and then just slowly bring it down and out. So here, as you can tell, not really using the jack right now. That hose should be okay to hold it, but the alternator here is almost. Alright, so there's the alternator finally out. There's the new one. After a bit of wiggling it, you should be able to get it out. Just make sure to unplug that connector on the compressor. Alright guys, so here we are.